I like that. You did say Dark Avengers, which is basically New Avengers. We're getting a lot of Avengers. And so I'm wondering, and I love the fact that they had the copyright thing. I'm wondering, is that like an inside joke because they can't technically use like the other characters because they belong to the other studios. So we'll never get, for example, all of the Spider-Man characters in a movie form. Remember Vince D'Onofrio said that. So
I don't know.
but I'm wondering if like the copyright line was like, oh, an inside joke because they
Yeah,
just can't get everything.
yeah, yeah.
But I like that it was an interesting spin. I'm kind of disappointed in the girl because I was like, oh, you're gonna die at first, but she didn't die. And then she went back to Val. Was like, whap whap, and she called in all the reporters.
Yeah.
Whap whap.
She kind of spun it.
So, but we had at the end where basically Yelena's saying, "We own you now." So can she be all great and powerful with with them knowing the truth and them being able to reveal the truth, especially Bob? Because Bob, you don't really want to crush Bob.
I feel like it's almost like the boys type of issue where Vought thinks that they're the powerful ones, but it's really Homelander who's calling all the shots. So I think that's kind of like the dynamic that they're gonna have is that it's the Avengers really calling the shots while Val is in the background, like hiding and kind of just like, well, at least I'm making money out of it, and at least I'm kind of powerful, and as long as you keep the Avengers happy, they'll leave you alone. So I really like that part right there. Like now that moment when she says, "Now we own you," because you see that look on her face, like, "Oh crap, what did I just do?" So I want to see what's gonna happen in the future. I'm wondering like if they're gonna make another movie and call it the New Avengers, and we'll talk about I guess the end credit. Like, are they gonna be
I really want
focused
my
on?
Z.
Huh?
I really want my Z in there.
Avengers? No, I don't think that's good. That's not going to be it. That they're not going to be called the Avengers. I think it was just a throwaway joke. But it was funny though. But I don't think that's going to happen. But like, I don't know, what are they going to be involved in next? Like, are they going to be involved in the Secret Wars? Are they going to be?
Yes, they announced them. Remember when they did
They
that
part of the
5-hour
cast?
chair
Yeah,
video?
I did not watch
They're
that
part of
thing.
the cast. But they're part of the cast, which
Okay.
to me ends up leading to like more questions. But finish your thought.
No, yeah, I was wondering what it was going to lead to with that because we can touch on the end credit scene where they've established themselves as the Avengers or New Avengers now. Some people agree with them, some people don't, and like you mentioned before, Sam Wilson is trying to put together a team, but they're kind of fighting legally for the rights of the Avengers name versus them now too. But Yelena says, "Hey, we've got issues up in space. We need to check up on that." And then they find the freaking ship, and the ship is the Fantastic Four showing up, and then it cuts. So I'm wondering if are they gonna be involved immediately? Are they gonna have their own movie, or are they just gonna show up in Secret or not Secret Wars Doomsday first, and the ball gets rolling with them afterwards?
Okay, so this is a theory. I spoke to Kevin Feige. By the way, we released a Kevin Feige interview. Yay!
Oh, nice.
But in the thing, he will not say anything. But this is how it goes, like timeline wise. Theory is Fantastic Four. The events of Fantastic Four happen during the Avengers. Remember, they're not in the same Earth. It's a different dimension. Remember, we get the futuristic New York City.
Yeah.
So in that, whatever happens in that movie, at the end, they're like, oh snap, we need help. So they end up going into they cross. Remember how Reed Richards is like, there's so many dimensions. They go through the dimension that enters into Earth. So therefore, they're in our orbit, in our atmosphere. And the first people, theory, is that they make contact with are the New Avengers. Yay!
Okay.
And that's what happens. So that end credit, which was filmed, and like, hey, we got to throw something together. They told them at like the last minute, when the movie was already wrapping, you got to do this right now. This was not attached to the movie, but this was the end credit that would explain Fantastic Four's arrival into our Earth, which is even more weird because Galactus entered into their world. So I don't know, does Doom enter into our world? And it's not exactly Fantastic Four's world. Or maybe it's both because according to you in your comics, he can go through different dimensions without any problems, right? Doomsday. Doom.
Doctor Doom. Um, not that he can go into them in the comics. He meshes them together. He literally pulls them all together and amalgamation. He becomes like an all powerful. They call him God. What was it? God Emperor Doom. His name called God Emperor Doom, and he has pretty much the powers of the Beyonder, the Watcher, however you want to put it, in terms so the non-comic fans could understand. But he becomes more powerful than like a Celestial or the Watcher. He becomes so powerful that he's able to mesh the universes together, and he creates one world called Battle World, where that's where the Secret Wars takes place.
So then, there you go then. Because they start, I guess, integrating or something happens within the movie. Again, I think they do this without a plan. But that's what the theory is.
I have a theory with that, is that we've seen set photos of Fantastic Four with secret people getting in on set, being snuck up on set. We still don't know who that is. My theory, honestly, is Robert Downey Jr. I mean, Victor Von Doom is synonymous with Fantastic Four. He has been their arch nemesis since the 40s or 50s or whenever the hell they came out. Like that's their villain. So my theory is that at the end of Fantastic Four movie, as they find out or they involve themselves with Victor Von Doom and they realize that he's a threat and he's doing this Battle World thing, so they go to other universes such as ours now to recruit people and to help with the Doctor Doom issue. That's what I think.
That seems really interesting then. So then here's my other question to you that I wanted to ask. With Sentry, is he more powerful than Doctor Doom?
No. Unfortunately, so not only is Doctor Doom, so I mentioned this before and we had this discussion. Franklin Richards, he is probably by far the most powerfulest character in all of comics. And then you mentioned, you said the Sentry. You said the Sentry was, and I'm like, yes, I still think the Sentry is. The Sentry is physically, but Franklin Richards can literally think you away, can literally look at you and you're gone. So he has like the power to manipulate literal reality. And that's what happens with Von Doom. Von Doom has a mix of very powerful technology and stuff, but he mixes that technology with magic and a lot of celestial powers. He mixes it with everything pretty much. So it's almost like having Scarlet Witch with like Iron Man level technology. He meshes everything together. So if you were to pit Doctor Doom with the Sentry is going to lose.
Oh, that's not good at all. So that should be very interesting then. And we know that Franklin exists because worst kept secret, she was pregnant in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So then that should be really interesting. And I kind of look forward to that. And of course, there's been rumors spreading that, it was a panel where it was revealed. But here's the thing. It was a Marvel Comics writer. He's not a writer, from what I understand, that's on the movie, because he would have definitely been fired. But according to, it was at the Huntsville Pop Culture 2025 event, where one of the comic writers, Chris Claremont, was speaking about things that seems to happen in Avengers Doomsday. So you know about this one? Where Robert Downey Jr. is supposedly not only Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom, but apparently playing different characters, while also terming them as two other characters. Chris Evans would be coming back as Captain America, the young one, and a version of a Hydra Captain America.
Captain Hydra.
Captain Hydra, and then Elizabeth Olsen will return, but she's like, I'm good now.
Hmm.
Sam Cud is coming back as Phoenix. Psylocke is apparently coming back, even though there was no casting announced. And that Wolverine is not only coming back, which we do know, but he's going to kill someone important. But it's not going to be
Hmm.
Charles because he's already dead.
That'd
So
be what, the fourth or fifth time he dies in Marvel.
kill him again. But he's
Ah,
going to kill someone important, which is like, oh, maybe one of the new Avengers. And then, kind of, my question for you is, we're getting the West Coast Avengers, which was teased in Wonder Man, which comes out in December for Disney Plus. Is there a big difference between, is that would be Sam Wilson's Avengers because we have West Coast and then whatever new Avengers are?
it could possibly, so that way they're split up and they have their own territories and they can stop fighting each other and stuff. That would make sense. It seemed like Kamala Khan was kind of helping with that stuff, and there was rumors that the new teams that they had been introducing were going to be part of the West Coast Avengers, which, for those who don't know, Wiccan and Speed. Which Speed they haven't introduced yet, but the theory is that they're going to show that on Disney Plus with what the White Vision show.
Yes,
Uh, yeah, there's rumors of
Vision
that
Fund.
showing up. That pretty much we're trying to get back Scarlet Witch's sons, so that way they could be part of the Avengers as well. They also introduced Kate Bishop, so we got Kate Bishop who could be a part of it. So yeah,
Alive.
yeah. So I feel like Sam Wilson's gonna play like the father figure or teacher figure for that new team. Maybe that would make sense to me.
That would be interesting. I just hope it's not convoluted. It's like, here's Avengers Team 1, and here's number 2, and then here's some random, I don't know, the Italian
Well,
Avengers
just
coming
don't mix
through.
them together. That's the thing, and that's why in the comics it works so well, because there's a West Coast Avengers, they have separate comics. There's the East Coast Avengers, they have separate comics. Rarely do they mix and match unless there's like a global or a universal like issue going on. But for the most part, all their stories stay very separate. So if Marvel, the movie entertainment business, if they can keep that stuff separate, then they should be fine.
So what you're saying is you believe in separate but equal.
Sure.
Okay, George Wallace. So then I guess, so then the only kind of mid-credit scene that we had, which was like a little gag, it was cute.
Oh yeah.
Red Guardian lost weight. He got rid of the beard. And he's on Wheaties box, and he tried to get himself a new wife, and it,
He's
it
so
didn't work.
creepy. He was
I
so
thought it was
creepy.
charming. And he has gold tooth. It was
Yeah.
cute. That was a cute one. So, was there anything else that you wanted to mention about this movie or future movies, Fantastic Fours, or any
Uh,
connections?
no, I really hope the future stuff that they have, like the end credit scenes, start to really feel more cohesive. They're not just throwaway end credit stuff, because that Fantastic Four thing, end credit thing, was very nicely done. So I think the next movie is Fantastic Four. Am I right? That's what's coming up next. So hopefully that end
In
credit is
July.
in July. Yeah. So I hope that end credit stuff is worth waiting for and watching, and it's something important. Um, Aside from that, I feel like they should make it a gag and just keep bringing Taskmaster back and just killing her off every single time, because they've already destroyed this character twice. So why not just make it a running gag at this point?
That is hilarious and sad.
Yeah.
Like maybe Wolverine should just do it and call it a day.
Wolverine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, who are you? And then like this knife going her head. And then she shows up in another movie and she makes an appearance and just dies there.
Yep.
So yeah, it works that way. But I thought this was absolutely fantastic, very emotional, very I did have one question though. Is this a superhero movie? I struggle to answer that because it's not a typical superhero movie where it's bad guy versus good guy. It's about mental illness, suicide, depression, meth. We had some a meth addiction kind of throwaway line out there. Is this a superhero movie?
Yeah, I think so. It's superhero because it had more darker themes. It was a bit more adult, sure, but it's to show that even the worst type of people, the darkest type of people, can bring themselves up to become heroes. So that's a good superhero story in itself, that you can kind of go and redeem yourself after all the stuff that you've done. So yeah, it's a superhero movie. They're now the new Avengers.
Oh, oh, it's a new version of a superhero movie. It's a
Yeah.
new Avengers superhero. That's so sweet. I like it. Yeah, it's a non-traditional superhero movie where you fighting your own battles is how you overcome and gain your superhero powers. That's
Hmm.
so cute. Yeah, I just kind of wonder when it comes to Secret Wars and Doomsday, how exactly are just regular people like again? Because it kind of made a thing of are they going to just shoot their way out of it? They don't really have any powers except for Century, so that should be interesting. I don't know how they would play that in there,
Oh, you
but
just
yeah.
gave
Oh,
me a
and one
thought
other.
actually. That would
Okay.
absolutely show a force of power in Doctor Doom if like he shows up and the Sentry goes and fights him and Doctor Doom just like easily just wipes him off the floor. It was almost like that moment, the moment where the Hulk fights Thanos for the first time. Remember how quickly Thanos put him away? Like if they had a moment
Mm.
like that between Doom and Sentry, that would establish Doom as a badass.
And then forever stay with him because I don't think he turned back except for at the end when he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, we have to save the world." Oh my god! So we just get a glimmer of Century. He just forever is Bob.
Yeah.
The void takes over and he just disappears.